If we clear out the lines, the most mesmerizing star I recognize is the star that could dumbfound our sky. It is this one, Scarab Juice or Scarab Pulverize. It's a red, very monstrous star. Furthermore, on the vague possibility that you put it where the Sun is, it would stretch out to the orbit of Jupiter. It's huge, completely unpredictable, and going to explode. It's not as clear as it appears to be in the universe. These Goliath events, like the most irrationally feared gigantic starbursts, could shake all that we see. In addition, regardless, do whatever it takes not to see its middle. Betelgeuse has been seen as a sign, a red, extremely giant star that is normally more significant than our Sun. Brian Cox and other space specialists think it could go supernova, which has made people frightened about what will occur next. The James Webb Space Telescope is taking shocking photographs of the star, raising the question of when Betelgeuse will turn into a supernova and what titanic impact it will have on Earth. Let's sort out the star in the magnificent body Orion that shines so brilliantly that even individuals from long ago have seen it. The magnificent star Betelgeuse is situated on the eastern shoulder of the constellation Orion. It is the second largest star in the star grouping, and its name comes from this feature, the monster shoulder. It is potentially one of the most brilliant stars in the night sky. On top of being extremely bright, the star is also an odd shade of red, which, as we will see, suggests trouble. We've had some tremendous experience with Betelgeuse for quite a while. A Greek observer named Tmy also focused on it around that time. The primary thing people perceived about stars was their color, and Tmy said that it was a toadstool-colored orange. In modern times, specialists have been focusing on the star more eagerly, and now they have a brilliant idea of what makes it so curiously bright. One of these qualities is that the star changes brightness a great deal. With a clear magnitude of 0.6, Betelgeuse is a variable star, which means its brightness changes over time. Recently, specialists have found some new information about the star. In 2019, they first noticed that Betelgeuse was acting unconventionally. Even though Betelgeuse didn't completely stop shining, it wasn't the same. It had become considerably less bright, shining at a level of 1.6. Specialists quickly began to investigate why they were seeing the 10th most brilliant star behave in this capricious manner. Researchers expected to offer an astounding explanation in light of their research, which uncovered unusual signs from the star. According to their discoveries, Betelgeuse could go supernova at any moment. Brian Cox, a famous scientist, shared this surprisingly dangerous explanation. As a distinguished professor of particle physics at the University of Manchester School of Physics and Cosmology, you shouldn't dismiss his point of view as a joke. He also hosts a science show, writes popular science books, and is the Royal Society Professor for Public Engagement with Science. Brian Cox says that Betelgeuse is, by all appearances, a ticking time bomb because it could go off without warning. To disintegrate what is happening, the James Webb Space Telescope has shown an epic amount of evidence to back up this explanation. But what whimsical signs has Betelgeuse displayed that have caused so much concern in space science? With the new information about Betelgeuse, the star has been named a supernova candidate. Despite the fact that analysts are still unsure when it will explode, the fact that Betelgeuse is twice the mass of the Sun is one explanation for this classification. A star, as it's been said, ought to be several times the mass of the Sun to be classified as a supernova. Things get really interesting, however, because analysts have used different instruments to research Betelgeuse, such as the James Webb Space Telescope and the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, to see what's happening in space around Betelgeuse. What they found is still a mystery. It was born on August 31st a long time ago. Around that time, the star Betelgeuse clearly offered odd hints that made its future uncertain. What did they find? Well, they could detect curious light waves coming from the star, which is very curious. However, it wasn't the only thing experts observed. This takes us back to the likelihood that Betelgeuse is a star whose brightness changes every now and then. It was said that alarming Betelgeuse darkened down at regular intervals and had dark spots, much like our Sun today. However, the circumstances are different now. It changes from bright to dim twice as fast as it used to, which is another indicator. It has returned to an amazing sign that specialists found. The star's dimming cycle had hit a band of quality of 1.61 in February 2021. This was not long after the gigantic darkening event. Review how the star appeared to fade in a bizarre manner in 2019? That's because it's now known as the extraordinary darkening. We could see that the incredible darkening was the start of Betelgeuse's unusual behavior, which made many people worry that Betelgeuse was going to explode. The range of darkening was 1.2 somewhere between 2019 and 2020, and the lowest recorded dimming was in 2019. So specialists were certain that Betelgeuse would go supernova in the next 100,000 years. In view of the extraordinary darkening, there is a fragment happening in the universe, so this is truly surprising. Analysts quickly changed their perspectives, however, when they saw what happened next. Betelgeuse got brighter again after the incredible dimming, and it changed into something far more striking. Astrophysicist Andrea Dupree, at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, says that the star is now 150% brighter than normal, making it the seventh most brilliant star. Specialists were panicked when they saw a red glow in the southern part of the sky. Today, it still gets more interesting because this has led to different considerations about what caused the incredible darkening. First, it's important to note that not all stars have the red glow of Betelgeuse. The red glow of Betelgeuse means that it's a red supergiant star, which is the last phase of a star's life and death. The red glow, on the other hand, is caused by a surface temperature of around 3,500 Kelvin, which is much cooler than the outer layer of the Sun, 5,500 K. Since Betelgeuse is cooler than our Sun, it emits less energy per unit of surface area. Nevertheless, it is more massive and will detonate. Now, let's look at what the phenomenal darkening looked like. Brian Cox asks, does it truly mean that Betelgeuse will go supernova? As a rule, the fact that Betelgeuse is a red supergiant already shows that it is near the end of its life as a star. A star that is dying will also frequently weaken over time, which is something specialists understand. However, Betelgeuse's new, amazing behavior has made experts focus more intensely. Many telescopes are now focusing on the extraordinary darkening. Still, things get much more interesting because experts don't have a significant understanding of Betelgeuse. Scientists are now using the most cutting-edge tools to keep an eye on the captivating things happening around it. The James Webb Space Telescope has been one of the best instruments analysts have used so far. Since 2021, it has helped analysts gather a lot of significant data about Betelgeuse. If Betelgeuse detonates, it will be the first supernova observed by humanity in real time since Johannes Kepler documented one in 1604. However, experts don't think this should happen soon, as they are still closely monitoring the star. Betelgeuse has fascinated astronomers for centuries, but its recent fluctuations have drawn more attention than ever before. The unprecedented dimming event in 2019 led scientists to believe the star was nearing its explosive fate, yet it later rebounded, shining even brighter than before. This unpredictable behavior has left researchers with more questions than answers. What would happen if Betelgeuse went supernova? If Betelgeuse were to explode, it would be one of the most extraordinary astronomical events in modern history. The supernova would likely be visible even during the daytime and could outshine the full moon for weeks. Observers on Earth would witness an unprecedented celestial spectacle, a rare chance to see a dying star in its final moments. But what about the potential consequences? Despite its massive size, Betelgeuse is located about 640 light-years away from Earth, which is considered a safe distance. While the explosion would release an enormous amount of energy, scientists assure that it would pose no direct threat to our planet. However, it could have significant effects on nearby interstellar space, possibly triggering the formation of new stars. One of the biggest concerns is how Betelgeuse's explosion could impact Earth's atmosphere. If the supernova emitted an intense burst of gamma rays, it could potentially affect our planet's ozone layer. However, given its distance, this is unlikely to be a serious threat. Clues about Betelgeuse's fate. In addition to its fluctuating brightness, another important clue to Betelgeuse's fate is its shape. Recent studies have revealed that Betelgeuse is not a perfect sphere. Its surface appears distorted, possibly due to convective currents and intense stellar winds. This unusual shape suggests that the star is undergoing internal upheavals, which could be signs of an impending explosion. Scientists have also detected shifts in Betelgeuse's outer layers, indicating that the star has been shedding mass at an accelerated rate. This loss of mass is a common precursor to supernovae, as the star expels its outer layers in preparation for its final collapse. The James Webb Space Telescope, along with other powerful observatories, continues to provide valuable data on Betelgeuse's condition. Researchers are particularly interested in studying its spectral signatures, the different wavelengths of light emitted by the star, which could reveal more details about its composition and internal processes. When will Betelgeuse explode? Despite all the speculation, the truth is that no one can predict exactly when Betelgeuse will go supernova. It could happen within our lifetime, or it could take another 100,000 years. Astronomers believe that Betelgeuse is in its late-stage red supergiant phase, meaning that it has exhausted the hydrogen fuel in its core. This stage is a crucial precursor to a supernova, as the star will soon begin fusing heavier elements like helium, carbon, and eventually iron. Once iron accumulates in the core, the star will no longer be able to support itself against gravitational collapse, leading to an explosive end. However, because Betelgeuse is relatively close to Earth in cosmic terms, scientists are constantly observing it for any signs of its final moments. If certain warning signs, such as a sudden increase in neutrino emissions, were detected, it could indicate that the explosion is imminent. Conclusion: a cosmic time bomb. Betelgeuse remains one of the most captivating stars in our night sky, a ticking cosmic time bomb that could detonate at any moment, or perhaps not for another 1,000 years. While its dramatic fluctuations have fueled speculation about its imminent explosion, scientists emphasize that predicting supernovae remains a complex challenge. Regardless of when it happens, the eventual explosion of Betelgeuse will be a landmark event in astronomy, offering scientists an unprecedented opportunity to study the death of a massive star in real time. Until then, astronomers will continue to keep a close watch on Betelgeuse, waiting for the moment when it finally makes its grand exit in a spectacular cosmic explosion. Betelgeuse, a star on the edge of explosion. Star's rare behavior notwithstanding, the fact that Betelgeuse will explode remains a mystery. While researchers are working to determine exactly when it will happen, the answer remains elusive. If we observe the universe without prejudice, one of the most captivating and perhaps most surprising stars in our sky is Betelgeuse. Often referred to as Betelgeuse, this red supergiant is a cosmic giant. If placed where the Sun is, it would stretch out to Jupiter's orbit. This staggeringly enormous star is on the verge of a dramatic event. However, the universe doesn't operate on simple, predictable terms. Unusual, grandiose events, like cosmic explosions, have the power to shift our entire perspective. While the possibility of Betelgeuse going supernova looms, researchers are still piecing together the exact sequence of events leading to its end. As analysts continue gathering data from cutting-edge space telescopes, such as the James Webb Space Telescope and the Hubble Space Telescope, they remain cautious about predicting an imminent explosion. Despite the star's surprising behavior, including its baffling cycles of dimming and brightening, there is no certainty about when Betelgeuse will finally reach the end of its life. Some speculate that the explosion could still be thousands of years away, while others believe it might happen much sooner, perhaps within the next few years or even months. The exceptional data collected by these powerful telescopes, combined with Betelgeuse's erratic behavior, has kept researchers on edge. They are closely monitoring the star, using every available tool to detect even the slightest changes that might signal an impending supernova. When Betelgeuse finally detonates, it will send shock waves through the universe, releasing an immense amount of energy. The explosion will briefly outshine the entire galaxy, becoming visible from Earth as a light as bright as the full moon. While this cosmic event will be a magnificent spectacle, it won't pose an immediate threat to Earth, as Betelgeuse is located more than 600 light-years away. However, the supernova will provide an unprecedented opportunity for researchers to study the final moments of a massive star's life and the processes associated with such a violent event. Betelgeuse's impending fate isn't just of scientific interest, it's a reminder of the vastness and unpredictability of the universe. Stars like Betelgeuse play a crucial role in the life cycle of galaxies, enriching the cosmos with the elements necessary for new stars, planets, and possibly even life itself. The death of a massive star is not merely an end, it is a transformation. As Betelgeuse explodes, it will release heavy elements that will eventually contribute to the formation of new stellar systems. In the meantime, scientists continue to observe Betelgeuse and its erratic behavior, unraveling the mystery of its future with every new discovery. As research advances, the mystery only deepens, expanding our understanding of the universe. Perhaps soon, we will witness one of the most extraordinary cosmic events, the transformation of Betelgeuse from a monstrous red supergiant into a stunning supernova. Until that moment arrives, the night sky remains a canvas of wonder, with Betelgeuse shining brightly, a symbol of the fleeting nature of life in the universe. As astronomers closely monitor this enigmatic star, they remain captivated by its unpredictable behavior. The fact that something is causing Betelgeuse to behave so unusually has sparked great scientific interest. It's important to remember that supernovae are not the ultimate fate of all stars. For instance, smaller stars like our Sun will end their lives much more peacefully, shedding their outer layers and leaving behind a white dwarf. However, Betelgeuse, being a massive red supergiant, will go out with an extraordinary bang, vastly different from the gradual dimming of smaller stars. The sheer size of Betelgeuse makes it an extraordinary subject for study. With a radius multiple times larger than the Sun's, if it were placed at the center of our solar system, it would extend beyond the orbit of Mars. This gives a perspective on just how enormous it is compared to the Sun, which is already a giant by the standards of most stars. Because of its enormous size, Betelgeuse has consumed immense amounts of fuel throughout its lifetime. As it approaches its end, its core is rapidly collapsing under the force of gravity, an event that will eventually trigger its violent supernova explosion. The process leading up to Betelgeuse's supernova is complex. As it nears explosion, the star's core begins to contract and heat up while its outer layers expand and cool. This creates an unstable environment, leading to periodic fluctuations in brightness. The dimming event observed in 2019 was one such fluctuation, likely caused by an outpouring of material from the star's surface, temporarily clouding its light. Despite these fluctuations, Betelgeuse continues to shine, albeit erratically, making it an object of great scientific interest. The possibility that Betelgeuse may be a contender for a nearby supernova has drawn the attention of space agencies and researchers worldwide. With modern instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope and the Hubble Space Telescope, scientists are gathering an unprecedented amount of data about Betelgeuse. These telescopes allow astronomers to observe the star in wavelengths previously beyond our reach, such as infrared and ultraviolet light, providing crucial insights into its internal processes. Additionally, researchers are employing advanced computer models to simulate the behavior of massive stars like Betelgeuse. These models help predict the star's future behavior and estimate when its explosion might occur. While the exact timing remains uncertain, current data suggests that Betelgeuse could explode sooner rather than later. Some predictions estimate that the supernova could happen within the next few years, while others propose it could take thousands of years. Regardless of the exact timeline, Betelgeuse's eventual demise will be a landmark event in the study of stellar evolution. Even though Betelgeuse's explosion won't pose an immediate threat to Earth, it will still offer astronomers a rare and invaluable opportunity to study the final moments of a massive star. By witnessing this event, researchers will gain a deeper understanding of how massive stars die and the processes that occur when they go supernova. The remnants of the explosion will enrich the interstellar medium, contributing to the formation of new stars and planets. In conclusion, Betelgeuse is not just a fading star, it's a cosmic clock, counting down to a spectacular event. As scientists continue to observe this giant of the night sky, we are reminded of the wonders of the universe and the delicate balance governing the life and death of stars. Whether the explosion occurs today, tomorrow, or thousands of years from now, Betelgeuse's eventual supernova will leave a lasting impact, shaping the cosmos for billions of years to come. The last moments of Betelgeuse. As Betelgeuse nears the end of its life, the process leading up to its final explosion is becoming more unpredictable. The star's immense size and rapid fuel consumption mean that its core is undergoing dramatic changes. Right now, deep within Betelgeuse, nuclear fusion is still taking place, but the available fuel is running out. Massive stars like Betelgeuse fuse elements in their cores in a cycle that progresses from hydrogen to helium, then to heavier elements such as carbon, oxygen, neon, and silicon. However, once iron forms in the core, the process becomes unsustainable. Unlike lighter elements, iron does not produce energy when fused, it instead absorbs energy, causing the core to collapse under its own gravity. This collapse happens in a fraction of a second. The outer layers of the star, which have been held up by the energy from fusion, suddenly lose their support and come crashing down toward the core. This results in an intense shockwave that rebounds outward, creating the supernova explosion. When this happens, Betelgeuse will become one of the brightest objects in our sky. For a short period, perhaps weeks or months, it will shine brighter than the full moon, casting shadows at night. The explosion will unleash an immense amount of radiation, neutrinos, and heavy elements, sending them hurtling through space. What comes after the explosion? Once the supernova has settled, what remains of Betelgeuse will depend on the amount of mass left in its core. There are two main possibilities. 1. A neutron star. If the leftover core is between about 1.4 and 2.5 times the mass of the Sun, Betelgeuse will leave behind a neutron star, a dense, city-sized remnant of pure neutrons. Neutron stars have an incredibly strong gravitational pull and magnetic fields, and some even become pulsars, rapidly rotating and emitting beams of radiation. 2. A black hole. If the core is more than 2.5 times the mass of the Sun, the gravitational collapse will be so intense that nothing can stop it. Betelgeuse will collapse into a black hole, a region of space where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. Either outcome would be a fascinating discovery, offering astronomers a front-row seat to the birth of a compact stellar remnant, something rarely observed so close to Earth. How will the supernova affect Earth? Since Betelgeuse is located about 640 light-years away, the explosion will not pose a direct threat to Earth. However, it will have significant effects. A bright new light in the sky, the supernova will be visible even during the day for several weeks. At night, it will outshine every star and possibly even rival Venus in brightness. A burst of neutrinos and cosmic rays, the explosion will release a vast amount of high-energy neutrinos and cosmic rays, which may reach Earth. These particles, however, pose no significant danger to life on our planet due to Earth's magnetic field and atmosphere. Scientific breakthroughs. The event will provide scientists with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to observe a supernova in real time, allowing them to refine models of stellar evolution and the formation of neutron stars or black holes. Potential impact on the interstellar medium. The shockwave from Betelgeuse's explosion will travel through space, compressing gas and dust in its path. This could trigger the formation of new stars and planetary systems in the distant future. The countdown continues. While we don't know exactly when Betelgeuse will explode, every new observation brings us closer to understanding its fate. Astronomers are closely monitoring its fluctuations in brightness, looking for telltale signs of a final collapse. With each passing year, our instruments become more advanced, and our ability to predict stellar explosions improves. Whether the supernova happens in our lifetime or many generations from now, one thing is certain. When Betelgeuse finally detonates, it will be one of the most spectacular cosmic events ever witnessed by humankind. Until then, we watch and wait, knowing that somewhere in the vastness of space, one of the universe's greatest fireworks displays is preparing to begin.